Good evening, everybody. My name is Robert Charpentier. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Truckee Meadows Water Authority, and welcome to our second our second winterization workshop. This one's a Zoom workshop. With me tonight is Shannon Giolito. She's our Water Conservation Coordinator, and Tullio Marchioni, who is our Water Conservation Auditor. And they're going to walk you step by step through the very simple process of winterizing your irrigation system. So do you two want to take it away?
Yep, sounds great. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Go to the next slide. Okay, so the objective of this workshop is to demonstrate how to properly inspect and safely turn off and drain an irrigation system for the winter. Now, we recommend that people winterize their irrigation system on Nevada Day or Halloween, October 31st. Sometimes we will have some bipolar weather and it might be warm, so you can always hand water. And if need be, if you're fluent at this, you can just turn your system back on, run it through the timer, and then re-winterize if need be. We'll go to the next page. Okay, so if you're a weather watcher, what you can do is Robert, I believe you mentioned we're gonna have this PowerPoint available.
You know what? And I should have mentioned at the top that this
Yes.
this presentation is being recorded. We're going to post it on YouTube later. So if there's any part of it you didn't get, or if you want to share it with somebody else, it will be on YouTube. And we'll also include a link to the PowerPoint presentation in the description of the video on YouTube. So
Perfect.
yeah.
And I just want people to be able to know that they have access to this information, of what a frost is, a freeze, and a hard freeze. The freeze and the hard freeze are what we want to pay attention to if you're a weather watcher, deciding when to winterize your irrigation system. So this is just some extra information that you can read
Yeah, it's a
about.
little bit wordy to read through and keep your attention through all, it's a little bit long. So just at your convenience, you can read it and focus on a little.
Homework?
Yeah, a little
Okay,
bit of homework.
All
homework.
right.
A little bit of
Let's
homework.
move
Right.
on.
Okay. All right. Julio?
So a couple of things before we begin. There are four important things that you need to recognize and locate in order to complete this process. One is your backflow assembly. The other is your irrigation control valve box, and the another is your vertical valve and drain sleeves. Generally, those three items are in the same relative general same position spot located in your house, usually somewhere on the side of your house, naturally on the outside of the house. The other thing you're going to have to find is your irrigation timer or clock. Most clocks are somewhere inside the garage, but not all. Some could be located either attached to the outside of your house somewhere or even on a post somewhere in your yard. So you'll just have to recognize and locate where that actually is.
Out in the field, I have come across irrigation timer clocks that are, believe it or not, inside the house.
That's true too, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Well, you know what,
those are some places.
that brings up an important point, which is what we're showing you here today is kind of a general description of how to do this. But depending on the age of your house, it might be a little bit different. Some systems are going to have copper pipes, they'll be very old. Most systems that are built in the last 30 years are going to be made out of PVC, so just look around. That's why we encourage you to find your stuff, because it's not the same on every house.
That's right.
Next slide. You ready?
Yep, we're ready. Okay, the next slide. This is a beautiful diagram drawn by yours truly, Robert. He's an artiste. So this is just going to show you all the components that we're working with
Yes,
here.
not by any means drawn to scale.
No, because
Not at all.
because this water meter box is likely to be in your sidewalk. It'll just be a lid that says water.
Right.
But the idea is to just show you how all these pieces fit together. But for the purposes of this demonstration, these two valves, your water meter and your main house valves, aren't really things we need to worry about.
Not necessarily. The only time a main house valve can come into play is if you accidentally turn that off. If you're not sure when you turn off the valve and you think you're turning off your irrigation, walk over to a hose bib at the house, turn it on.
That's
If
the faucet, right?
That's the faucet.
Yeah.
That's right. If it stops running or if somebody screams inside the house because the shower cut out on them, you probably turned off your house valve. So don't quickly turn that back on, because Robert, you were telling us a story about water hammer
Well,
that
yeah,
can happen if
that's
they.
when you operate these valves, when you turn these valves, you don't want to do anything really fast or really, really hard. You don't want too much pressure. But sometimes when you turn things on too quickly, like if you accidentally turn off your main house valve, you think, oh no, it's the wrong valve, and you turn it back on very quickly, the water will fly back into the system and repressurize. And if you've got a weak joint someplace, that's when it's going to pop, and then the job just got more complicated. So don't do
Yes.
that.
Yeah, don't do that. So slow and steady wins the race. So let's move from left to right. We have water supply, your water meter, the main house valve. Our focus is on the sprinkler supply valve, the drain, the backflow assembly, and then possibly another drain valve beyond that, and your manifold, which will have a drain valve sometimes located inside the manifold.
And a manifold is located generally in that box that has the green cover on it.
Yep, that's your manifold. And there's also some tools listed here that I'd like to point out. You want some gloves, a flathead screwdriver, a pair of pliers, and a valve key with a flashlight taped at the end of it. Okay, so let's just run through the process on this screen. Let's go back to the sprinkler valve, sprinkler supply valve. You want to turn that valve off.
So that's the first thing we do.
That's the first thing we're going to do, is turn that valve off. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
So we're turning it right
Lefty,
now.
yeah, we're going to turn it to the right, and it's going to turn that off.
But we're not going to crank down on it.
No, we're not. We're just going to snug.
I broke
That's
one
it.
2 years ago and spent the day digging it out and replacing
It's
it.
not fun.
Don't do
digging
that.
holes.
Don't do that.
Don't
No.
do that.
So the next step is we're going to open the drain valve, and that's going to be turned to the left. Open that drain valve. And then
And
next,
the purpose of that?
oh yes, the purpose of that, to drain out all that water that's between the sprinkler supply valve and the supply side of the backflow. All that water is going to drain out there.
Because if you leave it in there, it's going to freeze and possibly crack your pipes.
That's right. And don't panic. You will see some water at the bottom of that riser tube when you open that up. It's doing its job.
In fact, it's best to just kind of crack this valve open a little bit at first. And if you've got the flashlight taped to your valve key, you can see what's going on. Just crack it open a little bit. And if water is blasting out of there, it means you didn't get your water supply turned off. Not a big deal, because you can just, and don't take the valve key off this handle, because off the valve handle, because if the water fills and you can't see it, then it's kind of a pain in the neck to try and get the valve key back on it. So keeping your pressure on your valve key, open it a little bit, and if just a little bit of water comes out, that just means the system is draining and you're
That's
safe
right.
to open it the rest of the way. If a lot of water comes out, no big deal. Tighten it back up, go back, or make sure your sprinkler supply valve is turned off, and then it'll probably take about 5 or 10 minutes for the water in here to just absorb into the ground, and you can get
Start the
going.
process over again.
Yeah.
Yep. So the next step is going to be, if we look at our backflow, can you point at the two handles, shut-off handles? Those are in the off position. Yours will be in the on position, which means they'll be lined up with the pipes.
Parallel to the pipes.
Parallel to the pipes. And there's also, and don't worry about those right now. The next thing we want to drain is there's two test cocks there. There's one on the supply side, one on the exit
Do
side.
you want me to go forward to the photos?
Yes,
Yes.
let's look at the photos, the
Okay.
close-up.
Sorry, everybody.
And Tulio, I'll let you talk about the test
Okay.
cocks.
So we can see the two test cock screws there with they're pointed to with the red arrows. The test cock number 1 is
On the right.
on the right side,
Yep.
and it is in the open position right now because the line that the flathead screwdriver fits in is parallel to the little pipe there. And test cock number 2 is in the perpendicular position, and it's almost like a gate. When it's in the perpendicular position, as we're pointing out to you right there, it's like the gate is closed, so that means the valve is closed.
So these two would be open because
those two are open for with the exact same example, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so what you want to do after you get to this point is you want to turn the test cock screw with a straight, the flathead screwdriver, turn it about a quarter of the way, and that will open it all the way, and you will let the water drain out of both of those test cock valves. And you don't want to look in there while you're doing this. Otherwise, there's a possibility you're going to get a pretty forceful eye full of water. So you don't want to do that. Just trust that you're going to turn that screw about 45 degrees and let all the water drain out of there. And once all the water is drained out, then turn it back about halfway to its original position so it remains half open. What you don't want to do is there's no safety stop on these screws. You don't want to unscrew this thing all the way and have that screw pop out and it drops in the grass or the mud or the rocks, and now you've lost the screw.
It sounds like you've done that.
I've done it not only with this, but a lot of other things, yes. And you would think I would learn, but do as I say, not as I do.
The other thing I want to point out, Robert, do you see the little black plastic things there?
Yeah, these guys here.
Yes, those are, when you look at your backflow, that little cap might be attached to that little valve. Make sure you pop those off so that water can properly drain out. And then after you do what Tulio instructed with the test cocks, after you drain them and then turn them back to that half open
So they're
position,
half open, yes.
right. You want to do the same with these supply handles.
The
You want
blue handles.
blue handles. You want those kind of half open, half closed.
So we don't want them all the way open or all the way
No.
closed. When we're
Half and half. That way, if there is water in there, it has a place to go.
well, I've also heard because it's a ball valve, you don't
Yes.
want water trapped between the ball and the wall of the housing
Right,
because then it'll freeze and crack.
right.
Correct.
It's-
Water expands when it freezes.
Right. So if it's just cocked sort of half open, that's
Yeah.
Water will drain out.
Yep.
right. By the way, I want to mention to everybody that you can post questions in the chat. There's a little chat icon in the Zoom application, and we will answer them, you know, as well as it makes sense in the flow of this description. But feel free to be typing in your questions, and we will get to them in good time.
Shortly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Let's go back, Robert, to your beautiful drawing. So we went over a lot. So let's go through the flow one more time to get to the last bit. We're
Okay.
going to turn off the sprinkler valve supply.
Turn that off.
We're going to open the drain valve.
Okay. Open the drain.
We're going to drain the test cocks, turn them in the half open, half closed position.
All right.
Same with the blue handles.
Right.
Then if your backflow has this, there might be another drain valve on the other side. Open that up.
Oh.
Okay, watch out for
So,
spiders.
but people shouldn't be overly concerned if there's just a drain on one side but not the other, because sometimes it's just that
Sometimes
way.
it's not, mine isn't. I
Yeah,
don't have
more times than not, you're only gonna have one.
Okay, yeah,
one drain.
mine has two, which is why I drew it.
because
this
it's
way.
fancy.
It's not fancy, it just has two.
So then you want to go find your manifold and you want to open it up, clear out the frogs and spiders, and you may find another drain valve in that manifold. Go ahead and open that up as well.
And if you have more than one manifold, one or more of the manifold boxes could have a drain. So you want to check all of your manifold boxes and open the drain valve on all the manifolds that have a drain. And maybe none of them do. That's fine. But in the event that there is one there, you want to make sure that it's open.
Right. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's really, really easy. If I can do it, you can do it. The last thing, actually, there is one last step. Julio, let's go to the next. Well, let's go through some slides here.
Got to put a riser
Got
valve
to
there.
turn off the timers.
But
Oh,
and the
that's-
riser, yeah.
Where do you want me to stop? right
Well,
there?
let's go
Let's
to,
do,
yeah,
let's show how to do this.
these are what the different riser tubes are going to look like, or the shutoff valves. So if it's in a riser tube, this is why you need to tape that flashlight. Actually, it will be in a riser tube, let's be honest. But the one in the manifold, you'll be able to see that.
Yeah.
But this one, you need that flashlight at the end
And,
because,
and if you're looking down at it without a flashlight, what you see in this picture is exactly what you'll see in real life. Nothing. Without the flashlight, that's what you're going to see. That's why you need the flashlight taped to the irrigation key. And the reason why you want it taped to it is so you can use two hands to manipulate the irrigation key, because it's pretty hard to hold the flashlight in one hand and the irrigation key in the other and try to manipulate with one hand while the other's got the light. And never use your iPhone camera, or excuse me, iPhone flashlight to do this, because odds are you're going to fumble it and drop it and it might go down that dark hole.
Black Widow City.
Black Widow City, yes.
and those typically are buried below the frost line. So your arm's not going to reach down there to get that.
Okay, important safety tip.
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
So this is just another picture showing what these riser tubes might look like. Some riser tubes don't rise out of the ground that high. Some of them, there's a cap flat on the ground. If you see a black cap like that flat on the ground, or three of them clustered together, that's where all your valves are going to be located.
Yes, and generally one of the valves is your irrigation on off. The other valve is your drain valve. Excuse me, the other riser tube is your drain valve on and off, where that's located, and the other riser tube is your main house supply valve. And so they're not always easily identifiable. This one, the green riser tube, generally means it's going to be a house on-off valve, but more times than not, all of the valves are just white. So if they're not labeled, you want to do something to label them properly. And the wrong way to label them is to label the caps, because what's going to happen is if you take two caps off at the same time, there is a great possibility that when you replace the caps, you replace them on the wrong tubes. And so a good idea is to use some type of marker to maybe mark the inside of each tube and identify it as your irrigation, your drain, and your main house shutoff. So just a word to the wise on labeling the riser tubes.
Sharpies are pretty great.
Sharpies are pretty great.
Are good. And then inside these tubes are black. So they have these great paint pens
Yep.
that are white or silver. You can use those. Just make sure the inside of the tube is dry. And then you can write just D for drain, S for sprinkler, and M for main for the house.
Okay. Oh, what's this?
This is what a drain looks like in a manifold where your valves are. So that's what that's going to look like.
And that's generally what the valve looks like, even in the riser tubes. And the key or the tool that's used to open and close that, you can tell it's like a little fork that fits on the grooves of that particular type of valve.
Great.
Okay.
So I'm just going to answer. I've got a question from Sarah Wilkie, and she just wants to know, and we said this earlier, will the instructions be available? So we are recording this presentation. We're going to post it on YouTube. And then within the video description below the video, we'll put a link to this PowerPoint.
And another thing, folks, if you go to TMWA.com and click on the little magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner and type in how to, we have a lovely how-to video on how to do this that demonstrates all the steps in video.
Yep. It's probably clearer than we are.
Probably.
Anyway.
But we're more entertaining, right?
Maybe. Okay. Where are we? Okay, we've already looked at that.
And then we went over this. Again, this is information that they can access.
Okay.
After the fact, that just talks about the test cocks and the different positions.
And it's important to note that this is a generalization of how things look and where things are located. Each house is different. I've been to hundreds of houses, and it just seems that no two houses are the same with the location of the riser tubes and the backflow valve. So sometimes it actually takes a little bit of a search to find these things. So they're not always going to be in plain sight like they are in these photographs. You know, they're going to take a little bit of searching, and yours just might be in a different location.
You know, and we should probably emphasize that, you know, if you've never done this before, even if you've seen this video or looked up other stuff online, there's going to be a little bit of trial and error. There's like the mistakes you don't want to make is like really cranking on a valve and breaking it, or opening it up too quickly and causing water hammer, because that'll break something and then it's a big hassle to fix it, or you're going to have to get somebody to fix it for you. But mostly if you just kind of take it slow and easy, it's like if you open the wrong valve, no big deal. You just go back to where you started from, and you just try different things until you get it right. Mostly the systems will be arranged very closely to what you're seeing here. But again, yours may be a little bit different, or things may be located behind a bush or in the crawl space. You don't know, but for the most part, you're going to find it, as Tulio said, next to the house.
I'm going to give a good tip. This is something that I do. If you have a plumber come out to your house to do something, or even a landscaper, ask them where these things are. Ask your plumber if he's there fixing the washing machine or the leak in the, ask him, say, can you show me where my main shutoff valve is for my house? If you're not sure where it's located. And usually they can locate those things for you, especially if you have a leak under your house and somebody's crawling under there, making sure that they, look under there and see where things are. It's always a good idea while you have them on site.
Yeah, and if you have a repair person on site that's fixing something related to water, after they finish their repair, make sure you have them go out to the water meter and check that the water meter is not showing any usage. Because if it is, then they didn't repair what they're supposed to repair.
These are just tips, observations that we see out in the field.
But we do want to emphasize that this process, if you follow it step by step, it's pretty simple, and you shouldn't require the assistance.
You shouldn't.
No, not at all.
This is in the event that you do need the assistance because you have some type of event,
a unique situation
that you need an irrigation tech or someone else out. That when they complete their repair, make sure that they look at the water meter to make sure the water meter has stopped showing usage. And one more thing about winterization, make sure you disconnect all of your hoses from the hose bibs. You don't want to leave those connected in the cold weather.
Hey, we have another question from Sarah Wilkie, and she wants to know if the hardware store is the best place to get the valve key, which is called the water key.
Home Depot.
Yeah, you can get those things, Long's, Home Depot, whatever.
Western Nevada.
I don't even think they're very expensive.
They're not.
But there's two kinds though. There's the kind that we showed you that looks like a
hot dog
fork.
Yeah.
And then there's one that's much heavier duty, and that's usually made to operate your main house valve.
Right.
And that's
not the cross shape. That is the
it's like a big tong.
It's got a slot. It's got a slot that fits directly over.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a picture here that shows the one. This is the one you're probably going to need. So there's a handle at the top, and then there's just a little prong at the bottom that you can use to get hold of the valve.
And make sure you get the right size. Usually they have like a 3-foot one and a 5-foot one. Make sure you get the 5-foot one.
Yep.
But hey, congratulations on being a first-time homeowner. None of this stuff is super hard, and you can definitely figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to talk about next?
Okay, let's go forward a couple slides. Let's see what we have here. Let's go to the next slide.
We already talked about that?
We did, but there was something particular about this. People are probably wondering why that backflow assembly is sitting on a bench.
Did we already talk about that?
Did we talk about that? I don't think we did. Okay. Yeah, we did in rehearsal.
So
some of these backflow assemblies have union joints on them or couplers where you can remove them.
If you go back a couple slides.
Yeah,
I think it shows. Let's see, is it back?
Right
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see right there.
Right there. So you can do what Robert does, and he removes his and he shakes all the water out. You know, he opens everything up and he shakes all the water out and he puts it on his workbench in his garage. I'm more kind. I bring mine in the house and put it in a dog bed with a blanket and a cup of hot cocoa. And then it doesn't see daylight again until the springtime. But when you do this, if you do remove this, what you want to make sure is those two pieces of PVC are going to be sticking up out of the ground. So what you want to do is put a Ziploc bag over the top so little animals or dirt and debris, rocks don't get in there, because children like to walk around and pick up rocks and put them down pipes sticking out of the ground. I mean, I would. It seems like a fun thing to do, but
Not me.
it can,
Anyway, you go.
you know. So you want to protect those, just put a cover on them with a rubber band and then put your irrigation cover, you know, the little plastic green thing over the top. And that way it protects all that. That's
Perfect.
if you do have it.
Right.
Right.
And it is a good idea. You do want to protect those because, you know, there's beyond just keeping them insulated and protected. If they're just sticking up, people don't see them. Somebody's going to run into it and they get brittle over time and they'll break.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're fixing it in the spring. So
Yep.
another opportunity to meet with a professional or learn.
Or dig a hole. That's right.
So, but we all have learners here. That's why they're here. So, okay.
Okay.
How we doing? So
Let's see. And
let's,
then
The la-
oh, yeah.
our last step.
the last step is wherever your irrigation timer is located, make sure you just turn that dial to the off position.
Right.
And this is a good time to replace the battery on your timer to make sure that it just holds up through the winter and while it's off, and in case there's any power outages, it will maintain all of your settings and the correct time and everything, because sometimes these things are a little bit difficult to reset, or you have forgotten what you had them set for, and there's no reason to do it again in the spring if you've already done it. So that battery will ensure that all your settings remain in place.
Yep.
Good tip. So we're about to talk about a couple of other things that are not necessarily related to winterization, but now's a good time to stop. And if you have questions or want us to go over something again, you know, do type it into the Q&A box, and we will do our best to answer it. But until we get a question, we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, leaks, because, oh, somebody raised their hands. It's Sarah Wilkie. Let's view. I don't know. Okay, for the audience's sake, I didn't see the question, so we're just going to continue forward. That's probably
Okay.
operator error on my part. So, Sarah, if you want to type it where you type the last one, we'll be able to see it. Do you want to talk about leaks, Julia?
Sure. So a lot of people are wondering, you know, do I have a leak? Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but there's a way to find out if you uh, do or don't. So the easiest way is to just turn off all of your water devices, both inside and outside of your house. Uh, and that includes um, uh, you know, looking at your irrigation system and everything, make sure it's not running at the time, and then locate your water meter, and that's your main water meter that's out by the street. If you can get that lid off, sometimes if it's housing 2 meters, the lid might be a little bit heavy, so you might want to make sure someone is lifting that lid who is capable of safely lifting that lid. Then you want to look at the meter. If there's 2 meters in the box, you want to make sure that you're looking at your meter, and your meter is identifiable. It has a meter number on there, and you can just compare it with the meter number on your bill. They should be identical. If it's not the same meter number, then you're not looking at the right meter.
I want to add a word of caution here, because it's a fair warning. When you open these meter boxes, there's a little antenna, there's a black plastic disc on the cover. and you need to be very careful. And we do have a video on tumble.com/how-to. There's a video that shows how to open these boxes properly. And you don't just pull it up. You kind of have to flip it over so you don't, that black disc is an antenna. And if you don't flip it over carefully, you can break those wires. And it's kind of a Pottery Barn rules there. You break it, you buy it. So we do caution you to be very careful when you're opening up those boxes.
And be careful of spiders too. Those black widows love meter pits, love them.
Yeah.
And they have big families.
So, so after you turn off all of your water sources, then when you look at the meter, you can generally see these are the two type of meters in place. The meter on the right is the one, it's our newest meter. It's called a smart meter, and it is probably in most of the homes right now. Some people still have the meter on the left, and we are in the process of changing all of those out to the newer smart meter. But on the smart meter, it's digital, and you would be able to see the actual digits moving on the right side of that meter to show that you are using water. There's also that little circle underneath the numbers there. That is called a low flow indicator. If that circle is present, that means some water is going through the meter, and so you're using water somewhere. And you might not know where. We can get to that in a minute on how to identify that, but that low flow indicator means that water is flowing through your meter, so you are using water, and probably more important to you, paying for it, that water that's going through. The other meter with the dial, the analog meter, that those red dials, the long red dial that looks like a clock, that meter, that dial will be moving ever so slowly if it's a slow consumption, but the little dial there, that dial is the low flow indicator on this Badger type meter, and that will be slowly turning or quickly turning, but it will be turning if you are consuming water of any kind whatsoever. So those are the two ways to determine by looking at your meter after all your water is turned off, if you are actually using any water and shouldn't be, which would mean you have some type of leak somewhere.
Okay, hey, we just got another question, and this is taking us a little bit backwards to talk about, which is what we're here for, talking about winterization. But Sarah wants to know, she's just wondering when you're talking about removing the backflow assembly, and she has something that looks like that, where exactly, on the image, let's see, on the image that you showed, through the assembly.
Let's
Okay,
go back to
let's go back
slide.
to that. So yeah, it's pretty easy.
Right there.
That's a good one.
So on these two, so these are the couplers or the unions, and so this top is like a cap that goes over a threaded piece on the bottom. So you just kind of grab those, and if it's tight, you can use a pair of channel lock pliers to get a hold of it. Again, this is all PVC, and if it's older, it might be brittle. So you're going to want to get hold of this pipe here with your hand to just kind of give it some support, and then you can use channel locks to crack this open to basically unscrew it.
If you do have to use a channel lock, it may be a good idea to put a towel around that so you don't crack the plastic.
Yeah,
Protect the PVC.
right. Yeah, can't emphasize enough. Not too much force. You don't want to go nuts, but you can apply enough pressure to get it off. Just it's common sense stuff. But so then when those are completely unthreaded, you can pull this whole upper assembly off, and then with all of these valves, sort of half open. What I do with mine and the one I have is, let's see, where is it?
That's back
I'm
the
going
other
too
way.
far. Yeah, I'm going the other way. Sorry, everybody. But with this one here, because there's only one, the thread here is just in the valve, so that just screws on the top of the pipe. I only need one connector. So I unscrewed that cap and then literally unwound the whole assembly counterclockwise and pulled it off. And then I just give it a good shake, get all the water out, and bring it inside. Does that answer the question, Sarah?
And some people don't have that.
What do they have?
It's just all
Oh yeah, they don't.
Well, people
together.
don't have the
The
couplings on.
ability.
Yeah, I had to install the couplings on mine because after cracking a couple of these things, these $140 a piece valve assembly.
Yeah,
So
they're
I
expensive.
thought it's time to put in the couplers and bring it in for the winter and put it in the dog bed, as you said.
That's right.
Okay, so I think we may have answered Sarah's question, so we'll move forward. And we were talking about leaks.
Right.
Right?
Oh, and then you've got your weird Elmo photo. So
Yes.
you can explain to the people what you mean by that.
So if you have a leak, there are only three possible sources or locations of the leak. One is inside the house, and if it's inside the house, the most common place for leaks are toilets. And believe it or not, a toilet can leak anywhere from 1 to 5 gallons per minute, and 5 gallons per minute is 300 gallons per hour.
Yeah.
And I've seen people who are whose toilets are leaking in the hundreds of gallons per hour, and they don't have any idea that that's occurring. Uh, you don't see any mess. There's no water that leaks onto your floor. The water just goes from the tank into the bowl and straight down the drain. So one way to test for this is if you can turn off the toilets at the valve in the wall beneath the tank of the toilet, and again look at your meter out in front of your house, and if the flow stops, that means one of your toilets is leaking, or maybe all of your toilets are leaking. Then if that's the case, go back and turn one on at a time. And if it shows, well, when you get to the one that starts showing usage, that's the one that's leaking.
Oh, and these toilet flappers, are they expensive? The rubber
No,
toilet
no, no, they're a couple of bucks. You know, if you have to replace the entire innards of the tank, it's probably about a $40 fix.
Yeah.
If that.
And yeah, if that.
And none of that is very difficult either.
No,
No.
no. I mean, even I could do that.
Hey, we've got a couple questions before we go on.
Yep.
One is from Randall Cape, and he wants to know if it's common in this area to use compressed air to get water out of your irrigation line. And I can tell you, Randall, my dad used to do that. But I think it's sort of a at your own risk proposition.
Yes.
Because, you know, if you've got a leak, if somebody didn't glue something really well, and it's been holding up just fine, but if you put all that pressure in your system, yes, your sprinklers will come on for a second and water will fly out of them, and perhaps probably it'll be just fine. But you are taking a risk that you'll bust something in the system. So that's kind of a your call.
Yeah,
No.
if you feel like you need to do it, I would hire a professional to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's so tricky. The PSI has to be just so, and to your point, if there was a repair made and the glue is working, but then it just, a little extra pressure could break that seal. And honestly, it really isn't necessary.
Right, but if you
As
feel
long
the
as you
need,
drain everything.
call an irrigation tech and have him come out, because
Yeah,
if he breaks it, he has to fix it.
that's right.
Or, you know, it's a gambling city. You can roll the dice.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
Sarah has another question. Second question, on the meter, would a hot water recirculator shows water usage? No.
No.
No, your water usage is measured at the meter, at the curb. So the water that passes through the meter is how we essentially measure what your use is.
Your hot water recirculator is just recirculating water that's already been through your meter. So no, it doesn't register anything on your meter.
More questions? It's good stuff. I'd rather
Yeah,
answer
good-
questions.
good
Yeah.
questions.
Yep.
Okay, then we're gonna go back to Elmo on fire. Can you
Yes.
explain that?
Okay. So, well, if it's not something inside, if it's not your toilets, and you have a house isolation valve, we turn off the house isolation valve. Again, look at the meter. If the meter stops, then it's something in your house other than the toilets, because we've already tested your toilets, and that unfortunately is might be a little bit tougher search. But if it's not in your house, then it's either in your outside irrigation or your service line. And easy to test the outside irrigation by turning off the irrigation, and that's easy to do by just turning off the backflow. And that you can do by just turning one of those blue handles on the backflow that we saw a little bit earlier in the presentation. And if that stops the water usage, then the leak is somewhere in your irrigation. And the most common types of irrigation problems are an open drain valve that wasn't properly closed or fully closed in the spring when you start up your system, or an irrigation valve that gets stuck open. And that could happen at any time. That could happen the next time you run your irrigation, and when it shuts down, one of your valves just doesn't shut down properly. And so your irrigation continues to run. If it's a sprinkler, it's easy to see because you can see your sprinklers running. But if it's a drip line valve, odds are you're never going to see it because it's just something, the drip line is just something that you don't see.
Yeah, it's got lots of little emitters.
Lots of little emitters. So, if it's leaking 120 gallons an hour, that's only 2 gallons a minute, and 2 gallons a minute going through a drip valve, a drip irrigation system with all of the emitters is nothing. It's something you would never notice. And if it's not inside your house, and if it's not your outside irrigation, then that only leaves the Elmo on fire scenario, and that's where you have a service line leak, and that's where you have a leak between the meter and where the water enters your house, and that usually requires excavation and a mess and a lot of expense, and hopefully you have water line insurance warranty, but if you don't, it's costly.
It can be very costly, and it is, I would say, in almost no case, something you would want to attempt to fix yourself.
No, I have seen some homeowners that are go-getters.
If you're a
and they'll
trained
do it.
plumber,
Yeah,
sure, or a landscaper,
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm pretty handy. I wouldn't take that one
Well,
on.
the first thing you have to do if you don't have the proper equipment is locate the leak. Otherwise, you're digging holes everywhere.
Or locate the line.
Yeah,
yeah.
locate the
Locate
line.
the
Who knows
line.
where that's at?
Will you look
Yeah.
for the big shrubs?
Yes.
That's right.
That we do tell people that if you have a part of your lawn that looks greener than the rest, you might have a surface
Or a
leak.
big tree that the roots have grabbed hold of the line.
Irma Bombeck.
Yeah.
The grass is always greener.
Yep.
Yeah. Talk about going back. But okay. So what else we got?
What do we have here?
Is it the thank you?
This is it.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, this is
This is about our smart meters.
yes, our smart meters. So if you haven't already signed up for an online account with us, I encourage you to do so. If you sign in online and to your account, go to your profile page. On the left-hand side, it'll say smart meter. You can click on that and you can view your water usage for a specific date range. If you click on each individual day, you can see your hourly usage. So this is a good place to see where you have what your water usage is looking like. So if you're going through 500 gallons of water a day, but you're never home, you might have a leak. The other thing is there's a feature on there to the right of your profile tab. It says leak alerts, and we recommend that you sign up for leak alerts. The threshold is set pretty high because we have a lot of customers that use a lot of water, like big businesses. So we have it set high for them to encompass everybody. But if you change the threshold to maybe 5 gallons in a 24-hour period, that means if 5 gallons of water goes through your meter in a 24-hour period, you might have
5 gallons per hour for 24 consecutive hours.
That's right.
That's what that means.
That's
exactly.
That's bad.
That's bad.
If you're on vacation, it's particularly bad.
Well, or even if you're home, who's
It means
losing
a
5
big
gallons
deal.
per hour every single hour?
Yeah. Just to make it easy, because I know it's hard because we're describing it, we've seen it, we know what it looks like, but that URL at the bottom, that web address, tumble.com/ami-how-2, there's a video there that provides screenshots and shows you how to do it. It's actually very simple to set up a leak alert.
It is. It's great. It's fantastic.
So.
And I think all of our customers are so spoiled to have these new meters because
you deserve it, everybody. Don't listen to her.
It's really lovely that we have this because people can be empowered and take control of their water usage and their pocketbook, right? having all these tools.
That was a big reason for putting them in there. Not only is it more efficient for us in the way we operate the system, it makes meter reading super easy and a lot less expensive for the utility, but it does give you, the customer, access to your information in a way
That's
you
right.
never had it before. And trust me, if you go in there and you start looking at those bar charts, at first they're a little confusing, but really they're not. And if you stare at them for a minute, you'll know, oh, yeah, my teenage kid taking an hour-long shower every day is
This is how much
probably,
water is
there's
being
where the
used.
water is going. And you can
Yeah.
normally tell because it'll show you the time of day that it's happening. So you'll be
Mhm.
able to identify the culprit and
Yep,
scold them
exactly.
or determine if you have a leak. So
Yeah.
Yep. And if you think you have a leak and you're just not too keen on any of this, you can call our conservation department and one of our auditors can come out and help you isolate valves to figure out if you do have a leak.
Sarah wants to know. Sarah's asked a lot of questions and we appreciate it, Sarah. We wish everybody was asking
Team
questions.
Sarah.
It's just more fun. But anyway, does everyone have the smart meter within Tumwa's purview? We just sort of called it complete. There are a few oddball areas, or there's like multi-residential areas that are difficult to install them. But for the most part, you most likely have the smart meter. And the way you know for sure is you go out to that water meter box
Mhm.
at your curb, and if that little black circle is on the top, that black plastic
You
cap,
have it.
you've got it. But you
Yep.
also know by logging in. So you go to tumwa.com and you'll see a little button in the upper right-hand corner of the website where you click to log in. And it's pretty easy to figure out. If you haven't already signed up for your online account, you just need your account number, which is on your invoice. That's all you need for the login process. You'll have to type in your name and your address and all of that, but they'll ask you for your account number, and you punch that in, and before you know it, you've got access to the system and all of the tools that are inside of it.
Yeah, the hardest part is thinking of a password.
Well,
Remembering it.
remembering the password, yeah. So there you go.
I think that's
Yeah,
pretty much
I think we've got a few more minutes left if anyone
Yeah.
else has any questions. If not, we're gonna call it. So,
Well, as Shannon said, we're here to help.
You can go to the next slide.
sure.
You have a slide on that?
Oh,
Yep.
that one?
Yep,
Yeah.
there we
Oh,
are.
where to help?
From everything from irrigation startup to winterization, which we're talking about now, to conservation audits and everything in between. If you're uncomfortable with anything that we've talked about today, whether it's the winterization or whether it's trying to locate a leak by isolating valves or anything like that, you know what? Give us a call, 775-834-8005. And we'll be able to help you and assist you as best we can.
Yep,
All right.
I think that's about it.
Okay, you guys, about 30 more seconds, we'll banter. And if anybody has any questions, now's your chance. Otherwise, we're gonna say, oh, JC raised his hand. JC, we don't have audio questions, so if you could type your question into the Q&A box, we'll be happy to answer it for you.
What's that last question? Will there be an irrigation?
Yes, the answer is
yes.
There will.
Yes.
And there's also on that same how-to page, the tumwa.com/how-to, there's on that page is a video for the spring startup. But come on down and meet us in person and we'll answer all your questions, or we'll have another Zoom workshop for that.
Yeah.
So, and we also do in the spring, we're going to do a drip system maintenance and a sprinkler system maintenance workshop as well. And for that one, we'll bring in an irrigation specialist and they'll walk you through, show you the tools and the parts that you need. And again, all of this stuff, the reason that we put this stuff out here is because it's not really, none of it's that hard to do. Like, we wouldn't be putting this out here if a plumber really should be doing it. None of this is like that. Most of it, if you go step by step and take your time, you can do it. Believe me. So JC's question is, could you
Go over opening.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? I think it might be best to just go back to the diagram, the big diagram,
Right.
and we'll very slowly walk through the steps again.
Okay. So the steps are: turn off your sprinkler supply, open your drain valve, open your test cocks and drain them, or those are the handles, go to the,
Oh, test cock
yeah,
screws.
test
Okay.
cock
Screws.
with your flathead screwdriver. Open those up, you'll see the water drain out, then close them halfway, leaving them half open, half closed. Same with those handles. You want those half open, half closed. And then if you have another drain valve on the other, excuse me, on the other side of the backflow, make sure that's open. Then go to your manifold and check to see if there's a drain valve in there and open that. And lastly, turn off your irrigation timer. And that's it.
That's it.
It's that easy.
And JC, if you came in late, we have recorded this and we will post the video of this session online. But again, if you go to tumble.com/how, I think it's how-2, there's a video that's perhaps a little more concise that'll walk you through the process as well. And there's lots of great visuals. Randall Cape wants to know, says, not a question, but thanks for the Zoom call and the advice. You're welcome, Randall. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Randall.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Going once? I mean, technically, we're supposed to be here for 10 more minutes, so keep asking questions if you want. But we're not going to do hand puppets for 10 minutes.
No more Elmo?
No more Elmo. I'm not sure we should have had him in there in the first place. So
Elmo is I was channeling how I would feel if I had a service line leak.
that makes sense. So, JC, we'll just run through this very quickly. So we kind of talked through the diagram. This is how most of these setups are going to look like by most houses that were built in the last 30 years. So you're going to have several riser tubes. This green one, this is my house. So this green one is the main supply to the house. So you don't really want to mess with that one. If you turn it off, everything goes off. This is the supply valve to the sprinkler system, to the irrigation system. So first you would turn that off. And then this is a drain. So you would open that up. And again, to avoid confusion, and we mentioned this earlier, I would just mark this. I'd like put an S on this for the supply valve, put a D on this for drain valve, and then here's a drain on the other side of the backflow assembly, put a D on there as well. But so first you would close your supply valve, open this drain. When you open it, a little bit of water is going to come out. If a ton of water comes out, you want to close it really quickly and make sure that you got that supply valve closed correctly. But most likely, you open it nice and slow, take everything nice and easy. A little bit of water will come out, leave it open. You're going to leave all of these drains open throughout the winter. Then these are test cock valves. You open those and then you leave them open about halfway because they're ball valves and you want the water to be able to drain. There's like a little ball inside. You want the water to be able to drain away so it doesn't freeze and crack the housing. And then there are two more valves you can't see here. So I'm going to scroll forward to give you a close up of what this whole deal looks like. And this is the incoming supply valve. This is in the open position. To close it, you want to cross the pipe. You want to be perpendicular to the pipe. For winter, you want it sort of cracked open, just about halfway. So again, the water can drain away from the ball. Same thing with this valve here. So we'll go back. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry. And then, as mentioned earlier, so then you would open up this other drain here. Again, a little bit of water, maybe more water will drain out of here. It depends on the elevation of your irrigation system, like if stuff is draining back towards the valve. But if nothing else, it depressurizes the system. So water is going to seep out of it. And even if there's a little bit of residual water in there, it's not likely to freeze up and break the pipe. Somebody did ask earlier, and maybe it was you, Randall, would you use a compressor to blow all the water out? And that is a possibility, but you are, again, risking damaging the system. I'm hogging this. Do you guys want to add
You're
anything?
doing great.
So this is just so one of the tips, again, JC, is if you've got a little, an LED flashlight, this is what it looks like when you open one of these riser tubes and you stick that valve key down there. You can't see a thing. So you're using the Braille method to try and find that valve, and it'll drive you nuts. So tape a little flashlight on there, turn it on, and you can see. And Tulio pointed out, don't use your iPhone because it's going to fall to the bottom of that thing, and you're going to be trying to reach to the bottom, and you're going to get bit by a spider. So, that's we've talked about a lot of things, but the basic process is really simple. Close your supply valve, open your drain valve, open the valves, both the test cock valves and the valves, the supply valve and the outbound supply valve from your backflow assembly. And then open the other drains, the drain in your, if, and not everybody has two drains, but if you have a second one, open it and then look inside your manifold box. That's the green box that's going to be located next to this, most likely, or close to it. Open up this valve as well. Some people, and we had talked about, have little unions on these assemblies. So on this one, you would unscrew this connector, and then you can literally just unthread this whole assembly from the top, you know, when everything's turned off and drained, and then you can just shake the water out of this thing, bring it in your workshop, put it on the workbench, and you're done. Hey, more questions. Sarah asks, any tips for first-time homeowner? Yes, make people take off their shoes before they come in because they get dirt all over the carpet, and that's not nice. But more specific?
Well, what I would recommend is if you're buying the house from somebody, if it's, I sound like if, you know, you buy a used car, you want to know about the used car. If you buy a home that's not a brand new home, maybe if you can, if you have any communication with the former homeowner, find out where everything's located.
Yeah.
If you can't from the former homeowner, locate everything about the house, you know. A lot of people buy a house and they don't know how it works. You know, they don't know where everything's located. So locate know where your power comes in. Where's your meter for your electricity? How to shut your electricity? Where's that panel? How do I shut the power off in any emergency? Where's the gas coming in?
That's really good. I mean,
Where's the water coming in?
How does my house work? Yeah, where
does my house work? Where is everything located? And
another
these are
question.
good things to know.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
You're good. That's okay.
Okay, but Jenny Bear wants to know what the purpose of the manifold is. And this is a very poor illustration of the manifold. I tried to create an exploded view. And well, anyway, this is what you have. But it's basically, so if you've got a sprinkler system and it has multiple, you know, subsystems. So like, oh, the front yard comes on and then the backyard comes on. The manifold is where that happens. So this valve opens in the front, you know, this valve here opens in the front yard, sprinklers run there, then it closes. In your timer clock dictates how this works. Then the next valve opens and the first system in your backyard comes on and waters for however long, 5 or 10 minutes. Then it closes and so on. And maybe this last one is for your drip system. You know, after the sprinklers go off. So that's the purpose of the manifold. And then JC, opening these in spring. Steps in reverse. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Close all the drains.
And again, on that tumble.com/how-to page, and let's go back. Is that address on here someplace? I think you
the how-to page?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
It's on there.
Oh, well, that's the AMR how-to.
Oh, well, just go to our website in the upper right-hand corner. There's the little magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Click on that and type in how-to videos, and all of our videos will come up.
I have a better idea. We're going to just go to the website.
Good idea.
Oh, does my keyboard still work? So you go to tumble.com. Oh, I need to reshare. Sorry, everybody. Share and share the website.
Okay.
Okay, so you should be seeing our website. Okay. On Tumble, so here we are, tumble.com. On the website, if you look under customers, so you come to the menu item customers, click, oh man.
Nope.
Yeah, dope. But under customers, how-to videos. You click on that, and the first thing you see is the household winterization. So that's basically everything we just went through. I would watch this because I think it does a better job than, well, certainly
it does a better job than I do.
And you can also click stop and rewind and everything.
That's right.
Also, you know, as Tulio talked about, how to use your water meter to determine if you have a leak. And then to JC's point, this is how to shut off your water in an emergency. It's kind of the same stuff. And it's basically going to be this green riser tube. You want to turn it off so no water is going into your house. And that's like when a pipe breaks under your house. Worst case scenario, you'll go out to the curb where the meter is and you can turn your water off there.
Or you can call us and we'll come out and do it for you.
Yeah, but you know, water is
flooding.
Water.
Yeah, But if you're not able, don't panic. You can still call us, our emergency hotline, 834-8090.
Yep.
And you can request that a fabulous technician come out and get that water shut off for you at the meter, which we highly recommend. Again, with the meter, if you try to turn it off yourself, if you break it, you buy it. So
I've done it, but nobody else should do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sort of like the thing where we say, hey, are you going to use the air compressor to blow the water out of your system?
exactly.
You're taking your chances, because it is with inside that meter box. It is Pottery Barn rules. If you break something in there and in that meter
Mhm.
box, it's expensive. So
It
it's
is.
best to find another solution.
Yep.
We also have a video on how to test and fix a leaky toilet flapper. This is how to do kind of a water audit. So this walks through the process of isolating the different things that may be leaking in your house. How to adjust your sprinkler heads. Wait,
Mhm.
oh no, this is spring sprinkler system startup.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is the opposite. So JC, this is the video that'll basically show you, and we'll use a lot of the same visuals that you just reverse the process we just showed you. So, oh, one more. Do you have to turn the timer off last? I always turn it off first, but Shannon says you turn it off last.
I don't know. You can
As long as you turn it off.
Yeah,
potato.
it might not matter. As
Yeah,
long as
to each
it's
his own.
as long as the system isn't running, obviously, you know.
Yeah, and that would be the only hill clicker, right?
Right.
Is if you walk out and your irrigation's programmed to go off at 2 p.m. and you're like, I'm gonna winterize at 2 p.m. today and go
Yeah.
out, and then everything's running. So yeah. It doesn't matter.
And then a final reminder on the battery. Tulio pointed out the timer will have a battery in it, and particularly with the programmable ones, if the battery is dead and the power goes out, you lose your programming. And so they're not that hard to program, but just replace the battery. Like when you do your winterization, so if the last step is to turn off the timer, pop that bad boy open and put in a new battery, and you probably won't need to worry about it for a couple of years. So
I always tell people to do it every autumn when they change the batteries in their smoke detectors. Just do it all at
you're
once.
supposed to change the batteries in your smoke detector?
Yeah, that chirping sound you hear in your house, it's not a bird.
What do I know about smoke? Okay, last call for questions, and then we're out of here. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. I guess that's it. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Good night.